Spirit. Spirit.
Hello and welcome back to another Gunpla review. Today we're taking a look at the high-grade After Colony Heavyarms from the TV version of Gundam Wing. And starting off as always with the articulation, the head is on the standard barbell polycap, which means it can go this far back, this far forward, and can get pretty much a full rotation. The shoulders are on a forward-facing hinge as well as a ball joint. The arms can hinge out for less than 90, even including the ball joint. There's a full rotation at the bicep, a double jointed elbow, and the hands, as always, are on a ball joint. The waist uses the two ball joint system, though the top one is so tight, you're pretty much only getting a rotation. Technically, you can move that a little bit, but man, it is way too tight on mine. The front skirts are ball jointed, though they can obviously be separated. The side skirts are on the usual polycap, so up a little bit, front and back. And the back skirt is actually a separate piece, as well as an extra little hinge in here, meaning you can get a bit more of an ab crunch. I kind of feel like they just included that because they knew that ball joint didn't do anything. Then the hips have a weird sort of hinge forward, which doesn't actually really move it very much, but it's there. And universal joints for the hips themselves. You're not exactly getting a full splits because the side skirts, though, you can kick really far out to the front. Thigh swivel for 180 degrees, a full bend at the knee, and really nice ankles. You can go that far down, including a toe bend, and that far up, including a toe bend. Not to mention a very nice tilt. So I will have to give the Heavyarms credit. The articulation's great. Moving on to accessories, let's start off as always with the sticker sheet, and by extension, color correction. As you can see, if it'll focus, I haven't used any of the stickers. I fully painted this myself. So let's go over the color correction. Those are the head cameras, the eyes, those are skirt things. These are for the chest, and these are for the legs. Now getting into what you actually need to paint, the Vulcans on the head are supposed to be yellow, as well as the ones here on the chest. This is part of the red plastic, so you also have to paint black around it. As you saw with the stickers, the blue and yellow on the chest need to be color corrected, though the gray and blue inside the chest also have to be color corrected. We'll get to that later. The silver of this blade, aside from that, black stripe, black in these, black, 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 black. The black in the center of this, yes, I checked. The black on these little triangles, black in the leg vents, gray on these vents, gray on the sides of the ankles, as well as the gray on the top of the feet. So overall, it's not too bad, and the stickers do cover most of it, but it does look a little bit plain without some of it. Though most of what's missing is completely understandable. I mean, there's no way they could have got that blue on the chest. Anyway, moving on to the actual accessories. Let's start off with the hands. You get two open hands. They are a little bit more curled than I personally like, but I do like the fact we even get open hands. Then you get two holding hands. And finally, two thumbs up, which are left over from the Sandrock since it reuses the runner, but hey, you can have the Heavyarms do a thumbs up, so, I mean, it's meant to be holding, but it's nice to have. Aside from that, you do get, the signature weapon of the Heavyarms, the Beam Gatling, which is fully color separated, which is nice. I do have a slight problem with it, and it's not that you have to take off the hand. It's that it doesn't really attach on at all. I mean, you have these molded in from the design. You could have easily put a little latch there to clip it on. I mean, it's not going to fall off, but that is not as secure as I would like it. Anyway, the Beam Gatling is pegged on, so you can rotate it. It doesn't spin freely, but you can move it if you want. And it does have a moving secondary handle. Personally, I think it looks a bit goofy, so whatever. But hey, it is included. And you do get this little extra piece, which just plugs on like that. And you can store it on the backpack. And yeah, this definitely looks goofy, but hey, it's an option. And of course there is one final gimmick of the Heavyarms, and if you're familiar with the suit at all, you know what it is. It has a bunch of hidden weapons. First off, you have these hatches up in the shoulder, which open up to reveal two more missiles. Then you have the missile pods on the legs, and I will point out the white on these is painted To be fair, it's pretty easy to do. You literally just drop white on every one of them. Takes like a minute, but yeah, keep that in mind. And finally, you open up the chest to reveal twin Gatlings. And yeah, this is where a decent amount of paint goes, because you actually have to paint the inside of these gray and the blue gem there. That said, with all of these weapons equipped, it is pretty intimidating. And as for a quick size comparison, Heavyarms is actually fairly short. You wouldn't expect it, but it actually comes out slightly shorter than the RX-78. So, to wrap this review up, I like the Heavyarms. Could have had a little bit more color separation in the legs, but that's not a huge deal. I am a sucker for orange, so I'm a little bit biased when it comes to the suit design. I don't care about wing at all, but hey, orange suit. That said, the engineering on this kit doesn't feel like something from last year, 2020, if you're watching this in the future. It feels like something from like 2008, 2009. There's some weird seam lines on it, and some of the engineering in the actual joints is a bit awkward, but it's not a huge deal, and I think the overall product is pretty good. As long as you don't mind a little bit of paint or dealing with kind of ugly stickers, I really have no reason not to recommend this kit. Even if, like I said, I don't really care about wing, it has everything I want in a mobile suit. Bulky, fairly clean, orange, and a decent amount of hand options. So if you find it for a decent price, feel free to pick it up. Anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, helps a lot. Subscribe and hit the bell for future reviews. Go follow me on Twitter for updates, and consider supporting me on Patreon so I can keep making reviews just like this one. And as always, until next time, happy building.